I'm good. Thanks for responding to my emails.
Yep. Um, you were on Aaron Ra, talking to Aaron Ra. I think that's how I heard of you. Saw you.
Um, yeah, that was about a week, 2 weeks ago. So I'll be the same sort of line of questionings with you.
Yeah, do you want to give it an introduction? Tell us about who you are, your channel, or where people can find you, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a presuppositionalist with a YouTube channel titled Biblical Account FTW. That's my brief introduction.
Okay, cool. So I'm an atheist. I think there's no reason to believe in a God. Could you tell me the reasons you think there are? We can talk about those, debate those. Yeah,
Uh, um,
I thought the same thing. Are you sound a lot like Philip Shapes and Colors Prove God guy.
um, yeah, I don't really want to disclose personal info.
Okay.
Um, yeah, just address me as Biblical Account FTW. It doesn't matter how you address me. Um, but I'll start off. Do you want me to start off?
Sure.
Our God of the Bible exists. What's your response?
No, he doesn't.
There isn't a defeater to our God of the Bible. What's your
There are
response?
there are tons of them, but you haven't provided any evidence, so it doesn't make a difference.
Our God of the Bible has made his definition known to us. What's
Uh,
your response?
just provide evidence.
Our God of the Bible has made his definition known to us.
I
What's
don't
your
see it.
response?
I don't see it. So where's the evidence? Need evidence.
His definition is an actuality which comports with our reality.
Well, definitions can't be an
Therefore,
actuality. Do you have any evidence?
our God of the Bible exists. What's your response?
Evidence. I need evidence.
Our God of the Bible has made his definition
Okay,
known
I need
to
evidence.
us.
I don't need your
What's your
words. I need
response?
evidence. Evidence. And stop saying what's your response. So I need evidence. What is your evidence?
There isn't a defeater to our God of the
Okay,
Bible.
that's not
What's your
evidence.
response?
Stop saying what's your response or I'm going to kick you. What is your evidence?
We agreed to a dialogue. I paid you as well.
Yes,
So you
I'm
can't
asking you. I'm
boot me
asking
off
you to
because you
provide
don't like my
evidence.
line of questionings.
Well, no, I'm kicking you because you keep asking an annoying question at the end, every sentence. So,
The
what
evidence
what?
is all I said to you.
Go ahead. What
Our
was the
God of the
evidence?
Bible has made our God of the Bible has made his definition known to us via general revelation.
Okay, I don't see it. So
What's your response?
where's the evidence? Because I don't see it.
The evidence is the world around us.
How?
What's your response?
Stop saying what's your response, or I'm going to kick you. It's annoying. I don't see
I'm
anything.
giving you time to respond. I'm letting you know when I'm
Yeah,
finished.
stop doing that. I can figure it out when you stop speaking. So, it seems like I see the world around us. There's no evidence of a God there.
There isn't a defeater to our God of the
I
Bible.
didn't say it
I
was a
yield my
defeater.
time
I
over to
didn't.
you.
You don't need to say you don't need any concluding things for me to know when you're done speaking. I don't need any of those at all. So I see the world around us. None of that is evidence of a God. I don't need to provide a defeater.
Our God of the Bible exists.
That's okay. I don't
You've
care
got
about your
background
claims. I
noise. I
want
can't hear what you're
evidence.
saying.
I need you to provide evidence. I don't care about your claims. I need evidence of the claim being true.
Our God of the Bible has made his definition
Okay,
known to
that's another
us via
claim. I need
general
evidence.
revelation.
Let's
Hang
claim.
on, you
I need
interrupted.
evidence. You keep repeating the same two claims, but I need evidence of the claims, not the claims.
You don't like the answer that I'm giving you.
Well,
General
no, you
revelation
keep making
answers your
claims.
question.
Okay, how is that evidence? I don't have
General
any.
revelation answers your
I
question.
have no general revelation. What are you talking about?
You
Like,
know
where
the
is this?
definition of our God of the Bible.
Okay, so this still isn't evidence. Definitions aren't evidence. So,
His definition comports with our reality in relation to general revelation.
like, that doesn't make any
I
sense. So,
yield.
what is the definition? What evidence shows it comports with reality?
You know the definition
Well,
of our
I have
God
no
of the
idea
Bible
what you're talking
because,
about.
hang
So,
on, you're interrupting.
well, I don't need to
You
know.
know
Wait,
you've
wait.
been
I
using
need you
God as a
to like.
noun.
I need you to give me the definition. You need to tell me what the definition is.
You have been using God as a noun because you know of his attributes slash adjectives.
Yeah, I also use
Therefore, he
Captain
has
Kirk as a
made
noun.
his definition known to you.
Okay, so what is the definition?
You know his definition
Well,
because you have been
I need you to
using
provide it. You need to tell me
his
what you believe, because I could provide many different contradictory definitions of God. So, what do you think the word God means?
Romans 1 verse 20. Since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been made known to us, so we are without excuse.
Okay,
What's your
so
response?
what's the stop saying what's your response? What is the evidence? Like you haven't provided me. I don't care about you can make up whatever definition you want. It's false, but evidence?
The evidence is general revelation
Okay, that doesn't
in
work. Try
conjunction to the
again.
world around us.
How does that differentiate imagination from reality? How does that show it's not just something you've made up in your head?
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Okay, how does that show it's not in your imagination?
Because we're surrounded with physical matter.
Yeah, matter exists. I agree. How does that show your God isn't in your imagination?
A God of the Bible exists.
Okay, that's a
What's
nice
your
statement. How do
response?
you show that it's not in your imagination?
No, God is the definition of our God of the Bible is
So
an
your definition
actuality
is in your
because he has
head.
made it known to us.
Your definition is in your head. Your revelation is in your head. How do you show your God exists outside of your head? That's what evidence means.
I'm not saying that God is a fact, he is a brute fact.
I
So he
don't.
is not an abstract thought,
d-
as he
So he doesn't exist only in your imagination. He exists outside of your imagination, like in reality.
there isn't a defeater to our God of the
Okay,
Bible.
you didn't answer the question. So, does God exist in your imagination, like unicorns and fairies and leprechauns, or does God exist outside of your imagination in reality?
Our God of the Bible exists because he has
Wait.
made his definition known
And
to
stop
us.
repeating yourself. Answer the question.
That answers your
Does
question.
no, it didn't. So the question was: is God imaginary, a figment of your imagination, or does it exist in reality?
God is in actuality
So he's
as he
not.
has made his definition known to us.
Definitions aren't evidence. So you claiming he exists in reality and not in your imagination. So how do you show he's not in your imagination? Because everything you've just provided is stuff from your imagination. Definitions, imagination, revelation, imagination. So how do you show he's more than just your imagination?
Our God of the Bible has made his definition slash adjectives known to us via general
Okay,
revelation in
language is in your
conjunction to the
imagination.
world around
Okay,
us.
so language and revelation are both imaginary. So those neither of those show how he's not imaginary. So what shows he's not imaginary?
The world around us is not imaginary.
Right, the world
This is
exists.
reality.
Yeah, right, the world exists, but there's no evidence of God there. So what evidence of God is not imaginary?
Via general revelation,
Thank you,
the
Arnie.
universe was
So I
created.
already debunked that argument. So I already debunked
I
the revelation
haven't
argument.
debunked anything.
Yeah, I did. So I said, how does your revelation show it's not in your imagination? You just said you have revelation. Well, so that's circular. That doesn't show it's not imaginary. So unless you can
I
provide some way,
rebutted that.
how did you rebut
I
that?
rebutted.
How
I
does
said that because God is not an abstract thought. He is not a
that's a
contingent
claim? That's not
fact.
evidence. That's a claim, not
He
evidence.
he is in actuality,
Claim, not
meaning that
evidence.
he is amongst all of us.
Claim, not evidence. So again, you keep making claims, but don't provide evidence. You keep saying, I had revelation. That's okay. Well, how do you show your revelation isn't just a figment of your imagination that you made up?
Our God of the Bible is awesome. What's your response?
Stop saying what's your response. So again, that's a claim, not evidence. So you have a you have a brain fart where your brain does stupid stuff. You have delusions, and you think those delusions are real. That's all you. That's the only evidence you provided so far. That you have delusions and you think they're real. Okay. Do you have anything else?
It isn't a defeater to our God of the Bible.
Yeah, it is. It's a delusion in your head. That's a defeater.
isn't a defeater. You have to provide a
I
defeater
did.
with adjectives and attributes
Adjectives.
instead of.
No, no. So if I can say everything that you've presented is best explained by delusion, that is a defeater for your position. Your position has been defeated. It's a delusion.
It isn't a defeater to our God of the Bible.
Yes, it is. If everything you've experienced is a delusion, that's a defeater for your position.
There isn't a defeater that can supersede the definition of our God of the Bible.
I just did. So you have an imaginary brain fart because you have delusions and you've made up a delusionary definition and there's no evidence of it existing in reality. That's a defeater.
I'm not a defeater. You have to focus on our God of the Bible rather than focus on
Okay.
me.
Okay. So everything you've said is made up figments of your imagination. That's all I need to say there. Like I don't care about the God
I'm
of the
not a
Bible.
defeater.
How is that not a
You're
defeater?
positing me as a defeater.
Right. I'm saying your claims have no evidence. That's a defeater.
The evidence is via general revelation. Our God of the Bible has made himself
So,
known to
so
us,
your
so we are
delusions,
without excuse.
so your delusions aren't evidence. That's just your imagination. So as I said, your delusions don't count as evidence. That's a defeater.
His definition comports with our reality.
Again, that's your imagination. You imagine this definition to be true, so that's not evidence it's real. That's a defeater.
The world around us is not an imagination,
Right? And the
it's
world around us
reality.
doesn't support anything you've said. It's just your imagination. So again, defeater. Thank you, Tobias.
You can't defeat our God of the
I
Bible.
just did. So again,
Impossible.
you've presented two things. You've said you imagine Sky Daddy, not evidence, and you imagine definition, not evidence. So those are both defeated. Do you have anything else?
Only our God of the Bible meets the prerequisites for eternality.
What are the prerequisites of eternality?
You know the prerequisites,
I have no idea
as
what
he has
those are.
made it known to you.
That makes
He
absolutely
has
no
made it.
sense. So what are the prerequisites of eternality? That's not a coherent statement. Like, how does eternality even have prerequisites?
It is impossible for our God of the Bible to spawn into existence. Therefore, he is a necessary being.
What does that have to do with the prerequisites of eternality?
You have been made known of his
Okay, I don't care if it's
definition,
been made
and
known.
his
I need you to
definition
like explain it. So what are the prerequisites of eternality? What do those words mean in conjunction?
is irreducibly complex, not to have always existed. He
Irreducibly
has,
complex.
he is eternal.
Okay, but you said there are prerequisites to eternality. Those are the things I'm asking about. What are the prerequisites of eternality? Not. I don't just need you to claim he's eternal. I want you to know what are those prerequisite thingies you mentioned.
His eternalness is a brute fact, and this comports with his other attributes, as it has been made known to you via general revelation.
So brute facts don't have prerequisites. So apparently you don't need prerequisites for eternality.
Brute fact means that only God can explain himself.
That's not what a brute fact means. That's
Yes, it
circular
does.
reasoning. No, no, it's not. Do you want me to Google brute fact for you?
Brute fact means there are many reasons. God can only explain himself, and God is the only explanation for our reality.
That's not what brute fact means.
Yes, it does.
What do you think the definition of a brute fact is?
Our God of the Bible is the only
No, no.
explanation
What do you
for our
think the
reality, and
definition? No,
only
no. What do you think the definition of a brute fact, the word brute fact, is?
not a contingent fact. God
Okay,
is who he is.
that's not.
I'm
No.
putting this into context
Well,
is
I don't
that
want
only
context. I
our
want a
God of the
definition.
Bible.
I don't want context. I want a definition.
You know the definition of our God of the Bible as it
Okay,
has been
I
made
want a
known to
definition of
you
brute
by general
fact. Give
revelation.
me a definition of brute fact. What does brute fact mean? Not God. Don't care about God. I want to know what the words
You,
brute fact mean.
The red herring ploy is not distracting
This
me.
is
So
not.
therefore, I
It's
can
not a red.
reiterate. I can
You
reiterate.
used the term. You used the term brute fact, so it's not a red herring. What is a brute fact?
A God of the Bible exists.
No, no. What I don't
What's
want
your
to know an
response?
example of a brute fact. I want to know what the word brute fact means.
I've already explained it to you, so you
Uh,
need
where,
to address what I'm telling
where
you.
did you explain it? What was the explanation here? Because I missed it.
A God of the Bible exists.
Yeah.
That answers your
What
question.
is the definition of brute fact? The God of the Bible exists. Okay, that's not a definition. So what
Brute
is it?
fact meaning that it is God is the only explanation, and
God
that
is
only God can explain Himself.
only God. Okay, so brute fact. I'm just looking at the Stanford Encyclopedia. A brute fact is a fact that has no explanation.
Yeah, in other words, the only explanation. So our God of the Bible
No, no,
exists.
no. It
What's
has
your response?
no explanation. Stop saying what's your response. Just makes you sound like an idiot. Well, you are an idiot, but so brute fact is a fact that
No, you
has
can't.
no
No,
explanation.
you
So
can't.
wait.
That's an ad hominem.
So explaining himself is an explanation. That's not the same as having
Can't
no
address what I'm
explanation.
saying to you. You know our
Well,
God of the Bible
I'm
exists.
literally doing that right now. So you said God is a brute fact and explains himself. So that's a contradiction because you're an idiot. So to explain yourself means you have
I
an
said
explanation.
God can only explain Himself.
Yeah, so God explains
You're
himself
trying to
and he's a brute
slander me.
fact.
You're trying to slander me because you know our God of the Bible
Yeah, you
exists.
slander yourself because you're an idiot. So a brute fact means
You,
has no
you,
explanation.
you're trying to slander me again.
You've already achieved that. So a brute fact has no explanation, which means it can't
Trying
explain
to. Why are
itself
you trying to slander me?
because you're an idiot.
It's just a
So,
claim. You made a fictitious
oh,
claim you
well,
can't elaborate on because you
you
know our God of the Bible
you want me to
exists.
provide evidence you're an idiot? Because you just said God is a brute fact and has an explanation. That's a contradiction. You're an idiot. So there's evidence. There's evidence you're an idiot
You just conceded to our God of the Bible.
that you have a contra. I mean, I guess if God is a contradiction, so he doesn't exist. Sure, I think I agree. Christian God
Our God of the
contradiction
Bible
doesn't
does
exist.
exist
Okay, do you have any evidence for that?
by general revelation.
Okay, do you have any evidence that isn't in your delusional imagination, like can actually be demonstrated to exist outside of your imagination?
General revelation in conjunction with the
Out.
world around us.
Do you know what the words imagination means? Like, where is your imagination?
The world around us is not
No,
imaginary.
no. Where is your imagination? What is your imagination?
I answered your question.
What? No,
You
no, you didn't.
you need to address what I'm telling you. So I'll
What
reiterate.
question did you answer? You
I,
didn't answer any of my questions. What?
our God of the Bible
Yeah,
exists.
that wasn't the question. So that's I'm asking for evidence for your claim. You've stated your claim. Now you need to provide evidence.
A God of the Bible exists because he has made his definition known to us
Okay,
via
you've already
general
said that. You need
revelation.
to give evidence of that. So give evidence of that.
General revelation is
Give
the
evidence
world
of that.
around us.
Wait,
A God of the
hold on.
Bible,
Go back. Hold on. So general revelation is the world around us.
a God of the Bible
Wait,
exists because
wait.
he has made his
Go
definition
back.
known to
Go
us
back.
via
Go
general
back.
revelation.
General. You said general revelation is the world around us. Is that accurate?
I'm saying his definition is an actuality
I
which
don't.
comports with the
No. I'm
world
asking you
around us.
specifically about what you previously said. You said general. What is general revelation? Is general revelation the world around us? Strange.
World around us, if you extrapolate that back to God's ontology, our God of
What
the
does
Bible
that
exists.
mean? So what? Okay.
The ontology
So
of our God of the Bible.
I asked for evidence of general revelation. What is the evidence of general revelation not being a delusion in your delusional brain?
Our God of the Bible exists because he has made his
Okay,
definition
that doesn't
known
answer
to
the
us via
question.
general revelation. You're interrupting me.
Yeah, that's because you're not answering the
After every,
question. So
when you
the
interrupt me,
question.
I'm going to start again.
Okay,
So,
the
our
question
God of the
is. I mean, I
Bible
can just mute
exists.
you. I can just mute you. So, the question is what is the evidence general revelation isn't your dumb mind being delusional?
Ad hominem. Our God of the
Well, that's a
Bible
question.
exists because he has made his definition known to us via general
Okay, you already
revelation
said that, so
and
you
is
need to
comported
explain
with the world around
how.
us.
How does general revelation not just be a delusion from your brain?
Okay, God, because God is omnibenevolent onto theologically, entailing benevolence to finitude and size, zoetic particulars ontologically. Therefore, he has made his definition known to us because he wants to have a relationship.
Okay, so how
Finitude
does
and
that how
size,
does any
zoetic
of that show
particulars.
that your revelation isn't just your brain being delusional?
Because I don't have the attributes of God.
Okay, so how does that show that you having a revelation isn't just a delusion made up by your brain?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, how does anything you just said show that your revelation isn't just in your delusion produced by your brain?
I've already gone through this. Can you address this? Our God of the Bible exists.
It's a delusion. You've provided no evidence it's not a delusion, it's a delusion.
You made a claim. You made a
Yeah,
claim. You can't elaborate on.
I just did. So I said, so you claim the God of the Bible exists. I claim you have a delusion. Mine is supported by
I know
evidence.
our
Yours
God of the
isn't.
Bible exists.
Okay. So how do you know it's not a delusion?
What's a delusion?
Okay. A delusion is your brain producing a concept that doesn't correspond to reality. So, like, people see hallucinations. They think that dead loved ones are talking to them. They think that their imaginary friends are talking to them. They start making up religions. Schizophrenics talk to spirits and ghosts. There's all kinds of delusions and hallucinations that occur in the human mind. How do we know that your revelation isn't one of those? Like, talking to dead people.
Because he's not, I've said this before, he's not a fact. He's not an abstraction.
I don't know what
He's a
that
brute
means.
fact.
Like
I'm
I don't know.
saying,
Like
because
so like let's say that
I'm not,
somebody one sec. So let's say that somebody was talking to a ghost and they said their ghost was a brute fact. Does that make it not a delusion?
a God of the Bible exists.
Okay, that doesn't answer the question. The question was, if someone is talking to their imaginary friend and they say their imaginary friend is a brute fact, does that show it's not a delusion, or should we still think, yeah, that's probably a delusion?
God of the Bible exists.
That doesn't answer the question. What is the
God of the Bible exists.
Okay, saying it multiple times, no matter how many times you say it, I've still debunked it. So you're gonna have to like actually address
I
the
haven't
argument.
debunked anything.
Yeah. So if you don't address my argument, then my argument is
The
debunked you.
fact resides in the mind. I'm saying that God is not an abstract thought. He is in actuality, which comports with the world around us.
Yeah. Okay. That all means God
Therefore,
exists.
our God of the Bible exists.
Yeah. So, but none of that is evidence that He exists. Like you have a claim, you have no evidence.
You have used the pronoun he because you have been made known his definition. What's your response?
No, I use the pronoun He because that's the classical definition given by imaginary delusions. So how is that not a delusion?
You know our God of the Bible exists. What's your
Okay. How do you
response?
show it's not a delusion for both of us?
Our God, there isn't a defeater to our God of the Bible.
I just
What's
I
your
just gave
response?
one. Stop saying what's your response or I'm going to kick you. So, how do you show that it's not a delusion? The definition, the revelation, both delusions show they're not delusions. They could be delusions for both of us. Maybe we both have the delusion. Show it's not a delusion.
Our God of the Bible loves
Okay.
me and interacts with me.
Okay. How?
Our God of the Bible moves stars for me when I look outside.
Okay, that would be pretty good. Now that's some good evidence. If God moves stars, can we see some of this like right now? Could He move the sun for us? Could you get Him to move the sun for us right now?
You can ask him to do it for yourself, but
Well,
you won't do that.
Well, you said that He moves stars for you. The sun is a star, so could you get Him to move the sun? Like, if you could make it go to the other side of the planet, that would be really cool. That'd be great evidence.
Our God of the Bible has made it known to me where you're going.
Where I'm
You're
going.
destined for a dark place.
I mean, okay, that would be great. Could he make it dark right now, like by moving the sun to the other side of the planet? Because that would be a dark place. Could you do that? That'd be
Our
great
God of
evidence.
the our God of the Bible is touching me right now.
You should probably ask him to stop. I think that's sexual harassment. Um, so again, you said so God can do stuff by making stars move when you ask him to. That would be really cool. Can you demonstrate this to anybody?
This is a personal testimony.
Okay. Can
So
you?
I don't need to prove this to you because you already know our God of the Bible exists.
Okay, but how do we show it's not a delusion for both of us? That's the question here. So can you show it's not a delusion we both have?
Is a delusion to you immaterial?
I don't understand the question. A delusion is a false image in your brain, false perception of reality.
Yeah, is it immaterial to you?
Well, it doesn't matter if you're an idealist or a materialist here. Like they could be either one. It's still a delusion.
Yeah. So you have been made known. It's Romans 1:20. Since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes, his
Okay.
eternal power and
Okay.
divine nature have been made known to us.
Okay. How do we know that it's not a delusion? That's the question that you still haven't answered.
Because his definition is in actuality.
No, no. How do we know the definition isn't a delusion?
Because you know the definition. I know his
Okay. No,
definition.
knowing the definition doesn't mean it's not a delusion. So how do you know it's a delusion?
As his definition comports with all of actuality.
So how do you know that, and how do you think it's not just a delusion?
It's not, I already explained this to you. Our God of the Bible exists.
Yeah, but again, you have to take all the things you said and show that they're not delusions. But all you've said is you have a delusion and you think your delusion isn't a delusion because it's a delusion. So none of this is helping you show it's not a delusion because you're just using your delusion to support your delusion.
There isn't a defeater that can supersede the
Have you talked to
definition of our
Skylar
God of
Fiction?
the Bible.
Have you talked to Skylar Fiction? Because I mean, this guy is the Phil, the lights and colors proof sound guy. So you might have Skylar. He's talked about
No, you're
Mars.
not omniscient. You're not omniscient.
I
So
totally
you
am.
can't
I am definitely
go to
omniscient. I am omniscient, and I have made my definition known to you, and I'm a brute fact. I explain myself. So yep, I am omniscient. But
Why not? Because well, then you
hold up,
can't tell me what number I'm thinking.
hold up. Have you talked to Skylar Fiction? He's asking. I think he says he thinks he's talked to you.
Um, no, I haven't. Is he in the audience?
Yeah, he sounds familiar. I think I've talked to him.
No,
You should
well,
definitely
I can
talk to
talk to
Skylar
him
Fiction. That would
afterwards.
be
Uh,
an incredibly entertaining 2.5 minutes.
you made a claim. You're not omniscient. So what's your response?
Yes, I am. I have made my definition known to you, and I'm a brute fact because I am the only explanation of creating myself.
You're not God because you're not perfect.
Prove it. Prove your claim.
Because God is benevolent, so He would reveal Himself to me.
I did.
You haven't done that.
I revealed myself to you. You know my definition through special revelation.
You don't know the number I'm thinking of right now.
I do, but I'm not going to tell you because I need to. I work in mysterious ways, so I don't answer all prayers. That would make me like a vending machine. I don't work that way.
No, because God doesn't need to use Discord to communicate with me.
I don't need to, but I can. I can choose to.
God
Thank you, doubting
hide
Thomas.
His. God wouldn't hide His revelation from me.
I haven't.
He wouldn't
You haven't.
deny who He is.
I'm not. I'm claiming I'm God. I have given you my revelation. I've given you the special revelation of my properties. You know my definition.
You
Thank you.
have
Thank
not.
you. Hold on one second. Thank you, Git. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
You're not outside the universe.
Well, I can be. I can be both outside and inside the universe. Remember, because I made my cousin Jesus come into the universe as a part of myself because I'm fully God and fully Jesus at the same time. So a part of me was in the universe and outside of the universe. I'm just the Jesus's 2000th coming.
God's name is not TJump.
God's name is TJump. It's just a different language you just haven't heard yet. It's the language of the angels. What is that? The angel talking language. Thank you, Arnie. Speaking in tongues. It's the speaking in tongues language for God is TJump. How did you not know that? Like you should have known that. I thought you were a Christian.
So what side of my body is God touching?
That's a delusion. It's not not it's not it's
God
not.
is touching me. I don't care if you don't believe me, but I'm telling
No,
you a
I'm
personal
I'm God.
testimony.
I'm God, and I'm telling you, I'm not currently touching you. That's just a delusion.
No, God is touching me right now, and God wouldn't hide
Thank you, Donna.
himself
Thank you, Donna.
from.
So where do you think God is touching you?
He's touching the left side of my head, and I could ask him a question, a yes or no question,
Thank you,
in
Cosmic.
relation to the lake of fire. I could ask him,
Wait, what? What? So if he's touching the right side of your head, do you get to ask a question about Earth or something? Like, is it dependent on where he's touching you that you get to ask questions about the cosmos? Like, if it, where do you
there
get?
you go, you contradict yourself. You're not omniscient, so you should have already known that.
No, I'm asking about your delusion because it's entertaining. I want you to tell the story of your delusion, even though I am truly God and I've given you revelation. I think it's entertaining to the audience that you speak it because you have such a lovely voice.
So
But I
why
gave you
has
it.
God made it? Why has God made it known to me that you're not going to His new kingdom?
Um, well, I am going to. It's my kingdom, so I can't go to my not his kingdom.
Only God can explain His eternality.
I know. That's why I'm explaining my own eternality.
Well, explain eternality.
Eternality is the ability to exist outside of space time.
Yeah, and only God can explain
Well,
Himself.
I just explained it. That means I'm God. You just proved I'm God. GG.
Then explain the mechanism that God used to create the universe.
Quantum fluctuations in vacuum energy.
God has made His definition known to me,
I know. I just told you.
and you have been. God wouldn't lie.
I haven't
Titus
lied.
1:2. You have been hiding, or you haven't been truthful about yourself. So this would contradict
When was I
God's
not
nature
truthful about myself?
because you were arguing against our God of the Bible
Yeah. So
early on.
I was still being truthful. So I've truthfully said there is no evidence or reason to believe in a God, which is truthful, even if there is a God. So even if I am God and I know I'm God, I can sit here and be like, yeah, there's no evidence because I didn't give you any evidence.
God knows He is God. He is
Of
who
course I do.
He
Of
is. You're not God,
course I am.
as you have been contradicting yourself. You made a claim of omniscience.
Yep.
However, you are not omniscient
Prove I'm not omniscient.
because you had to ask me clarifying questions.
That doesn't prove I'm not omniscient. That just proves I have a goal, an intended purpose, a sufficient reason for asking you questions, even though I already know the answer.
The God of the Bible is truthful and wouldn't play semantics or word games in order
Have
to
you even
spread
read the
his
Bible?
message across. Yes.
Doesn't play word games. Like, come on, really, really? Like, he made the donkey talk, the snake, the talking snake. I did this. It's me. So, I, Like, what about this? Isn't how is this different from a word game? The entire Bible.
Our God of the Bible exists. What's your response?
Wait, you're changing topics now. So how is the Bible different word games than what I'm doing right now? Because they're the same word games.
It's pointing out your contradiction in relation to your claim of omniscience. But to reiterate
Which
what I
was
said earlier is that
so
our God of the Bible exists.
right. I
What's
know
your
I
response?
exist. Of course I exist. Duh. So the question is how you said God doesn't play word games. Like, yes, I do play word games. I do it all the time in the Bible. Why do you think I don't play word games in the Bible?
God doesn't lie.
Okay,
He chooses
so
not to lie. He wouldn't lie about himself.
when I told that tribe that they were going to win the battle, but they lost to the Iron Chariots, was that a lie?
You have lied about yourself, therefore you are not God. So you have
Okay.
contradicted yourself as you know our God of the Bible exists.
Right, of course I exist. So I'm saying that nothing I've done here in our conversation is different than what I've done in the Bible. So in the Bible, I lied to the guys because I told them they were going to win the battle, and that if they attacked, and when they attacked, they lost because of iron chariots. That was a lie. So I can lie all the time. I lie here and in the Bible, and it's perfectly fine.
You don't know the number I'm thinking of
Yes, I do.
right now.
Yes, I do, but I work in mysterious ways, so I can't tell you because I have sufficient reason. If I did, then you wouldn't have reason to have faith in me. So I can't tell you because then you wouldn't have faith. You need faith. Praise Jesus. Maybe not. I mean myself.
You have been contradicting yourself because
Where
you know
I
you're
made
not
logic.
God.
I made logic, so I can make logical contradictions.
You're not God
Yes, I am.
because God wouldn't lie about himself
Have
as
you
you
even
have
read the
done with
Bible? Like
me.
I lie all the time in the Bible. Bible is just all full of lies. I told you that the smallest seed was the mustard seed. Like, yeah, that's a lie. Didn't happen. Fake news. The greatest words.
In Titus, not only the hermeneutics and God's ontology. God, he chooses not to lie.
Huh?
It would go
Wait, come
against
again?
his ontology.
The hermeneutics and how do you have hermeneutics and ontology? What do those
I'm
words mean?
saying that I'm
Well, I want to
saying
know what
that
those words actually mean.
via the Bible, it mentions God does not lie, and via his revelation has been made known to us that he wouldn't lie.
Okay, so when I
He
said
is
that when
perfect.
God said the smallest seed was the mustard seed, does that kind of prove it was a lie?
Well, you have contradicted yourself because you
Okay,
should
but that
already
wasn't.
know this.
I do know this, so I know that the smallest seed isn't the mustard seed, but the Bible says the smallest seed is the mustard seed. That means it must have been a lie in the Bible.
That's not a defeater to our God of the Bible.
Well,
What's your response?
so you said the God of the Bible wouldn't lie. God wrote the Bible. In the Bible is a lie. Therefore, the God of the Bible lied. That would be a defeater for your God, right? If God lied, that would be a defeater for your God.
John John 3:16 has remained consistent throughout all versions of the Bible as
Okay.
an omnibenevolent God ontologically would provide optimal special revelation. So God so loved the world that he
I would
sent
just.
his one and begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life.
Okay, so what does that have to do
Your
with the
response?
mustard seed?
The mustard seed is not a defeater. You can't defeat John 3:16.
Well, you said God doesn't lie, and the Bible says the mustard seed is the smallest seed. That's a lie, right? Because we're not seeing that's
There
a
are
lie
different versions. There are
of the
different
mustard seed.
versions of the Bible, because in order to claim a copyright, you need to change 10% of the context in order to resell again. It doesn't matter if there are inconsistencies here and there. All you need to know is that John 3:16
You
and
need to
Genesis
change
1:1
10% of the
has
copyright.
remained consistent. John 3:16 and Genesis 1:1 has remained consistent throughout all versions.
I don't think the
The
Hebrews
Bible.
were concerned with copyright back when they wrote this. Is there a version that doesn't have the mustard seed thing? Is there like a different version that I haven't?
We've gone over time. You are not God. You know our God of the Bible exists. What's your closing? And I'll give a closing.
Sure, sure. So my closing is you have a delusion, Philip, and it's crazy delusion,
I
and you.
don't know who I am.
I think it's like was it? You have a YouTube channel, Philip Cornelius Amon. Like unless you are the most amazingly perfect voice actor ever, that's definitely you.
I said this at the start. I have a YouTube channel, Biblical Accounts FTW. It's you can see my avatar. I'm in your main stage.
Yep. And
Gold avatar.
I'm playing my conversation with Philip Cornelius Amon on the Lights and Colors Prove God, and your voice sounds uncannily similar. It's uncanny. If I was God,
You
I would
not
say
see my avatar? Can you
uh,
read out my Discord name?
read out. Well, I'm looking
I
at
know
my.
you're speaking to the right person.
I'm looking at my YouTube screen because I'm on the comment section. So I mean, I could change screens if you want.
Not on. I mean on Discord, not your YouTube
Well,
page. Your
I'm
Discord
streaming this on YouTube,
main
so
stage.
well, I'm streaming it on YouTube, so I'm actually looking at my YouTube screen and then responding to the comments. So I'm not actually looking at the Discord. That's why I usually have the mods run the Discord because I'm on YouTube. But yeah, I'm also playing my past conversation with you
Um,
and me, where you said that the colors of the fire, red, blue, and green, God wouldn't lie. Therefore, Moses wouldn't have lied to Moses, and that's evidence of Jesus. That was hilarious, by the way.
um, okay, so there was someone else that wanted to talk. So I'm gonna I'm gonna quit this, exit the room. Um, you were saying something about Skylar. If he's
Yeah,
what's his
Skylar
username?
Fiction was in the audience. I'm sure he would be happy to talk to you for a few minutes before he kicks you. That would be hilarious. Skylar Fiction is in the YouTube chat. I don't know if Skylar is in my Discord. If not, Skylar, you could just join the Discord and talk to him now. That would be cool. Thank you, Skull Knight. Appreciate it. But yeah. I'll be happy to set something up with you and Skylar Fiction. It's covered up. Skylar Fiction Show at gmail.com if you want to email him. Or
Um,
or
yeah, well,
I
if
can set it up if you want. Do you want me to set it up?
he could, yeah, he could join now. He could join, or
It says
you
he's
can set it up.
trying. It says he's trying to join. Scotty, if you're in the audience and you see Skylar, make sure to let him in to skip all the like limit thingies, 3-day limit or whatever. Skylar is trying to
Okay,
join
I'll
the
speak
Discord
to
now.
Skylar.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions for him while we're waiting for Skylar? Anybody in the audience want to ask BA questions? Quantum, would you like to ask BA questions? That'll be. The link keeps saying it's expired. Why does it do that? Discord.io/TJump is expired. The one there's at the very top of the screen up there should work, or up there should work. New incognito window. Hello, people. What would you like to ask?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello, guys.
what would you like to ask?
Hello.
Razor.
Hello?
Uh, uh, please let me think
Hey, what's up?
a little second, please.
Okay.
Yeah, while that's happening, I can ask a quick
Go for
question.
it. Go for it, Razor.
Biblical, do you know the difference between claims and evidence?
Yes.
Can you explain it? Okay, I
Yeah.
think we're done with
Hang on.
that.
So hang on. I'm going to close this. Yeah. A claim would be, evidence would be in conjunction with the claim. So claim comes first, and then the conclusion would be, premise will be evidence, then the premise would be the conclusion would comport with the premise.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think you should
Guys,
read
guys,
things
please.
out.
I have a
I have
question.
something to say, please.
Sure.
I want to say, do we agree that the reason that made the universe, that reason is absolute reason? The reason is the cause that created the universe is uncaused. Do we agree on that?
Sure.
God is
No.
an unmoved.
I will give to make it very clear. Just wait, please. If we say there is action I must do, but that action must happen after I do something before it. Let's say if I want to marry a girl, that girl must ask her parents. And let's say the action will happen if the parents have the permission of the grandparents. If we keep it like that, and the grandparents ask the grandparents, we will never. I will not able to marry this girl. So if we have the infinite chain of cause, the action will not happen.
Okay, so we can
The
have a
action will
necessary
happen
thing,
if
which
there
is
cause is uncaused.
wait. So yeah, we can have a law of nature that's just existed forever. You don't need a mind or God for any of that.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
We don't need a God for that. We can do that with nature. So nature can be the first cause.
You don't have proof to that. You don't know. You just give an assumption right now.
No, we have actually good evidence for that. We have no evidence of a God. God's
What's
just
your
made up.
evidence?
Physics, all the models in physics are good evidence.
No, you build your argument to your understanding to your physics, to the law of nature.
Right.
Your understanding, excuse me, your understanding to the law of physics is limited.
Right. And God is made up.
The human being can see, he can't see everything or hear everything or touch everything.
Right.
So the
Neither
knowledge
can
that you will get is not the whole knowledge of your universe.
Right. Neither can you. So God's still made up in your mind, doesn't exist.
Excuse me?
Neither can you. So you also can't have perfect knowledge. So you're making stuff up when you say God did it because there's no evidence of God.
The argument that I have three premises. If we agree there is uncaused cause, I can keep moving to prove the God. Do you agree that there is uncaused cause?
There can be. There could also be an infinite regress. That's fine too.
Excuse me, that can be?
Infinite regress can be also. Infinite regresses are possible, and
No.
necessary things are
If
possible.
will that happen, the universe will not be made. Like I
it
said,
would be.
if
It would be
you
made
have,
just fine.
if I will do something, and that's something.
Nope. So yeah, the universe can be made just fine with an infinite regress. Time does, as long as time isn't perfectly linear, it's not a problem. So you can have an infinite regress. Nabia, did you have a question?
I
Oh,
have a question.
Sure. What is your question?
Okay. So, the concept of God, I was just curious, what definition do you have of God?
I define God as a non-physical mind that created the universe.
A non-physical mind that
Created the universe.
grew the universe. Okay. When it comes to people being agnostic, I notice personally that there's a lot of people that just use science to back up their proof, and I am under the the opinion that science is also not very reliable because in order to create or have conclusions that are seen as undisputable facts, you have to ask questions. And sometimes those questions can be very, what is it called? Questions can be very, what do you call that word?
I have no idea.
Questions can be very biased in their endeavor.
Well, so
So-
first thing, science is the most reliable form of knowledge we have of any form of knowledge. It's not perfect, but there's nothing more reliable than science. So their bias is
What
a
makes
thing.
it reliable?
Novel testable predictions, its effect on reality, the fact that it improves lives. We build stuff with it. You can tell the future. Pretty much everything. Like, I don't know, there's any measurable criterion you use, science wins on the more accurate standard than literally anything else. So
I think
Accurate,
Skylar's
but not-
waiting to be accepted.
who? Is Skylar in the audience?
Skylar.
Where?
Actually,
Skylar
before
Fiction.
that, can I clarify something with you real quick, TJump?
Sure.
'Cause, so I thought what Nabia said. You as a materialist, do you take anything to be non-physical?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. I wasn't clear on that.
Skylar, you're
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry, it took me a while. I'm not very good with this Discord thing.
it's okay.
What's happening today, guys?
Well, we're having a discussion here with a precept who thinks lights and colors prove God. It's fascinating.
That's so interesting. So you're a Bible believer? I guess biblical account is your name. I guess that would make sense. You there?
Yeah, I know our God of the Bible exists, as you do too.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually a God believer. I'm a deist. Well, pantheistic deist, somewhere in there. But how do you know your God is the real God? Because I believe in God already, but how do I know that the God of the Bible is the real God?
Because a God would provide optimal special revelation, which comports with the Bible.
Mm.
If you assert deism, well, you have a contradiction that you cannot reconcile because the world around us is made to sustain life. Why would a
deist
God
not be
create?
able to? Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand how. Well, I'm a pantheistic deist, but like, how would a pantheistic deist God not sustain the world?
Well, there are two versions of pantheism. Do you take the position that physical matter is all that exists?
I don't know.
Well, there is pantheism and panentheism.
Yes.
So panentheism
Uh-huh.
is two attributes, so physical attribute and immaterial attribute.
Mhm.
However, God's immaterial attribute is infinite in size, where his physical attribute in this scenario is finite in size. So when you make the
Okay.
assertion of but that doesn't really matter because God would provide optimal special revelation. What's your
To
response?
whom? To whom?
All of us.
Even like, well, I mean, how old am I when I'm gonna get the special revelation?
Well, he has made known his definition. So
What
that
definition is
contradicts
that?
deism.
What definition are you talking about?
You know his definition.
I
as he has made
I
it
don't know
known
what
to
your
you.
definition. Here's the thing, man. Is like every time I talk to a Christian, they give me a different definition of God, right? So some Christians are willing to say that like God's a child killer, right? That he drowns babies and things. Some Christians are willing to say that God like is okay with slavery, putting people in slavery. Sometimes Christians are like the happy-go-lucky Christians where they're just kind of like, I love Jesus, and Jesus is the important part, and forget about the Old Testament where God's a violent maniac. So like, what kind of Christian are you? You're a Bible believing Christian?
Non-denominational. But to address your earlier point, there is a difference between murder and killing. Because our God of the Bible is eternal, he hasn't murdered anyone.
He
So
killed babies. Yeah, he kind of murdered some babies. I mean, there's no justifiable reason to drown a baby, man.
he knows
Do you
the
have a? Can
futures
you
of
think of a justice?
everyone.
Well, if that's the case, why not kill everybody? If we're all falling in sin. If he knows we're all going to sin, just wipe out everybody.
You know our God of the Bible exists. That's why you're making an internal critique, because you
Well,
know there is
I
a
believe that
defeater.
I believe in God, but I don't believe what you're telling me. I don't believe in a God who murders children, things like that. I don't believe in a God who cares about your
He hasn't
sexuality or what you
murdered.
eat. Or yes, he's murdered babies because there is no justifiable reason to kill a baby. Can you give me a justifiable reason
There's a
to execute
difference
a child?
between killing and murder. And
Okay, are
because
morals
I'm
absolute?
reiterating myself.
No, I know, but you don't need to. This is I can see why TJump has a lot more patience than I do with this. But here's my question. Okay, let's just call it killing. We don't have to use the word murder. I'm fine with using the word killing. Is it ever moral to execute a child?
So your starting premise presupposes
No,
our God
it's
of
a
the Bible.
question. No. It was a question. I'm just asking you. According to your morality based on the Bible and God's nature, is it ever moral to execute children and babies?
I'm asking you a clarifying question.
Sure,
Does
please.
your starting premise presuppose our God of the Bible? The answer is
Well,
yes.
if I'm doing an internal critique, I would have to.
Yeah, so
Okay,
because
so
our
I'm
God of the
accepting
Bible,
certain premises. Yes, I'm accepting some of the premises, right? Like I accept that a God exists. I'm fine with that. We both agree God exists, right? But then when we get into drowning children and like hurting people and slavery, like I'm trying to find out where your moral system comes from, right? Because that will show me that your God is morally contradictory. So let me ask you, is it ever moral to execute children?
your starting premise still presupposes our
I
God
know
of the
you can't.
Bible.
I know you can't deal with questions directly. It's hard. It's hard when
You
people ask
can't
you tough
present a
questions. They don't just.
defeater.
Yeah, that's
You
now we're just
can't.
saying like yeah. What else? And you know what? You have a small penis. Are we just saying things?
This
Like
is a
can we just
straw
like
man
say shit?
argument. This
Well, I
whole
know it's.
you're trying to set up
Listen.
a
If we're
straw
just gonna
man.
randomly make comments about like things that aren't relevant or aren't factual to the conversation, right? I ask you a question. Listen, you can ask me any question. I'll answer it directly. Go ahead. In fact, I'll let you do it first. Ask me a question directly, and I'll answer it.
Not going down your rabbit trail with a straw man at the end. You can't
Well,
present a
I
defeater
just said
that
ask me a
supersedes.
question, bro. I just said ask me a question. You're not going down my rabbit trail. It'll be whatever question you want to ask. Just ask it.
Our
And I'll
God of the
show you that
Bible
I'm man enough
exists.
to actually
What's your
answer the question.
response?
Does the God of the Bible exist? Are you talking in what sense? Is he literal? Like, is it exactly the way the Bible stated? Does that God exist? No, I don't see any evidence for it.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah,
Therefore, that
humans wrote the
debunks
book.
pantheism.
Did God physically write the book or did humans write it?
So you're trying to set up another straw
I
man.
know. You can't
You
deal
can't.
with
You
questions.
can't.
You
You
can't
see.
answer questions. I know. It's
You
all
can't.
straw, man. Dude, if you paid TJump to argue with him, you're like, dude, you wasted your money. Because what you should be doing is going back and reading the Bible, first of all. Start reading the Bible, right? Do a little, understand the history a little bit. I have a co-host, Dr. Josh Bowen. Fantastic. Really knowledgeable, knows the languages and stuff. You might want to watch that, right? Because right now you're at a level where you're not really good at debating at all. You're just kind of like,
I've seen
I
your
don't know what you
debate
are.
with Gavin. I've listened to your debate with Gavin.
Oh, are you? Oh, please, are you a Calvinist?
No,
Well, I
Are
mean,
you a
putting it
Calvinist?
out
one
there.
sec.
That was
I
quite.
want to
that
be
was-
fair.
that
I
was-
want to be fair. So
Yeah.
he's actually improved a hell of a lot since our last debate. Our last debate was so much worse. So this is an improvement.
You
so.
don't know me, so you're not omniscient. I've pointed out your contradictions.
Are you a Calvinist?
So,
Are you a
no,
Calvinist? Do you believe in predestination?
Thank
not
you,
a
Arnie.
Calvinist. You're trying to
No, I'm just asking.
make
Because
a
you just brought up a gentleman who was a Calvinist that I spoke to, so I'm trying to see if you have similar views. See, this is what I'm talking about. Two different Christians, both believe the Bible, both believe different things. How can it be if God gave you special revelations, both got special revelation from God? How could his view of the spiritualness, the heaven, predestination be so different from yours? You're both Christians.
We are all Christians. However, there are two types of Christians. I'm merely a Christian. You're possibly a Christian slash misophist. So you possibly hate God. You have
Nah, I don't. I love him
still
actually. I love God. It's made my life
we're
fantastic.
going to the same place where TJump is going when Judgment Day happens.
I think he means the
Never
bar.
say
We're both
that.
going to the bar. Is that right?
Yes. Listen, if you mean Judgment Day, it's so weird, right? When you talk about things like Judgment Day, because I try to like, it's like God on trial, right? God's like, hey, why did you steal some bread? Oh, I didn't have any food, right? And it's like I was starving, and no one, at least my parents, like my father provides food and support for me when I was growing up. Deadbeat God of the Bible doesn't, right? How many? Can you answer me? How many people a day die of starvation or disease? Why doesn't God help those people? Is it
Your
just because he
question,
doesn't, because we don't believe in him? Is that God punishes people for not believing in him?
your question is not a defeater to our God of the Bible.
It
What's your
wasn't meant to be a
response?
defeater. It was meant to be a question to see how you would respond. But apparently, you don't like engaging in conversation when it makes you look
Well,
bad.
then you have conceded to our God of the Bible. What's your response?
By not say, how have I conceded to the God of the Bible? What words did I say that concede that the God of the Bible is real?
Your starting premise presupposed our God of the Bible.
No, it
However,
didn't.
because you don't like certain actions of his,
Do you like them?
that's not
Do
a
you like his
defeater.
actions? Hold on, let me ask you. Do you like the actions when he executes children? When he
Already
tells you
gone
can take
through
women
this
as
with you.
property? No, you haven't actually. But you're just not answering any of my question.
A
You're just not.
God
You
of the
literally
Bible
don't answer
exists.
anything.
What's your response?
He doesn't. Where's your evidence? Let me say this. Maybe. What evidence could you provide? Well, why am I even doing this? Tom, you went through this for fucking 45 minutes asking for evidence. He's
The
not going to give
Bible is
evidence.
the evidence to our God of the Bible. What's your response?
Okay. How do you know that?
Because the Bible says in John 3:16,
Okay,
God
so
so loved
the
the
reason,
world that
hold on. So let me get this straight. The reason the Bible is evidence of God is because the Bible says it is.
because God would provide optimal special revelation, which only comports with the Bible.
What does that mean? What is optimal special revelation? I don't know what you mean by that.
Revelation to save the most lives possible.
But he doesn't. He doesn't save the most lives possible. It's consistent. He executes children when they could be saved.
I'm not going down your rabbit trail. You
What about,
have yet
I
to
know you don't
present.
want to talk about anything about the Bible, right? Because I don't even believe you've read it, first of all.
I
Can
have
you
read
tell me
it.
how many chapters are in there? How many books are in the Bible?
A clarifying question is not a defeater to our God of the Bible.
Can I ask you how
What's
many
your
books are in the
response?
Bible? Can you tell me the first
Clarifying
5 books
your,
of the Bible? Can you tell me the first 5 books of the Bible?
your clarifying question is
No,
not a
you can't.
defeater to our God of the Bible. What's
I'm
your
not
response?
trying at this moment. I'm trying to actually talk to you and understand your beliefs, but you just keep saying it's not a defeater. I'm not necessarily trying to defeat your God right now.
Okay,
What
well
I'm
then
trying
you
to
have
get,
conceded.
hold on. I'm trying. No, it's not conceding. What I like to do, right? Let's say if I was talking to Tom for the first time, and Tom had a specific religion or some kind of beliefs that he had. Like, I'm going to talk to Tom and I'm going to be like, hey, let me know about this. How do you feel about this? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that information and I'm going to use it to understand what your belief system is. And then through that, I'm going to be able to find contradictions. But the problem is you don't want to have a conversation. You just want to say stuff that's not a defeater. But you're not putting an argument up. There's nothing to defeat besides you just making a claim.
I don't need to make an argument as our God of the Bible has made his definition known to us. What's your response?
Well, my God tells me something different through special revelation.
Well,
Why
that
is there a
contradicts your
contradiction?
claim of deism.
Of what? I said I was a pantheistic deist.
The God in
What?
pantheism hasn't announced himself. Why?
It's through special. Yeah, actually, pantheists would say that the actual reality, material world, is an expression of God. This is God, the spiritual, manifesting
God
itself
is
in the flesh.
God is personal, meaning that he would
He's
speak
not personal to me.
people.
He doesn't
He
though.
would
He doesn't talk to me.
our God,
I
our God
begged
of the
him.
Bible, our God of the Bible revealed himself to first man and woman. This comports throughout Genesis. The God in
What's first
Thank
man?
you,
Are you
pantheism
talking
Lawson.
about Adam? Are you talking about Adam and Eve?
the first man and woman.
Yes.
The,
Who are
the
they? Who are they? Who are
pantheism.
you referencing? Who are you referencing?
A clarifying question is not a defeater to our God of the Bible. What's your response? You're going against one of the 10 commandments. Do not worship other gods. Do not
Yeah.
worship the creation over the creator. I'm
Yeah.
trying to help you
I don't-
here.
I know you think you are, right? But it's like, at least here's the thing, right? When people are genuine with me and try to connect with me and have conversation, instead of playing like the debate game is what you're doing, it works a lot better, right? You know, if you're not aware of this, I was actually not even I was an atheist and agnostic for many years on YouTube. I've actually moved into pantheism. Uh, so I'm a pretty reasonable person, especially for an audience who's mostly atheist in my audience here. So, and they enjoy it because I'm fair with people. So if you want to have a genuine dialogue, man, we could talk, but like say it's not a defeater every time I have something to say. I mean, I don't know what your point is. Like, do you think this is what Jesus would want you to do?
God in pantheism hasn't announced himself to the world. Only the God of the Bible announced
Well,
himself and proved himself that he was God to first man and woman by creating
that's an
animals for
empty
first man
claim.
to name.
It's an empty claim that you
It's in the
can't.
Bible.
If the Bible is
You,
written by human beings, not God, can you prove it was written by God? Nope.
our God of the Bible exists. What's your response?
I know you pre-sup. Yeah, you know what? My dick is 12 inches long. What's your response?
Our God of the Bible exists. What's your response?
My dick is 12 inches long.
Our
What's your
God of the
response?
Bible exists. What's your response?
My dick is 13 inches
The
long.
God of the
also.
Bible exists. What's your
It got hard
response?
while I was talking to you.
The God of the
Listen,
Bible exists.
uh,
Our God of the Bible exists.
I know it's scary. It scares you. Like this is what when I see people. This is the equivalent of covering your ears and your mouth, saying, "Please, please, please, don't." I don't want to hear your words. Well, actually, let's do this. What is the best thing that's come about you being saved?
A
What's
God
your
of the Bible
relationship like with
exists.
Jesus? Yes, I know you've told me that. What's your relationship like with Jesus?
Awesome.
Tell me about it.
Well, you can repent, and you could find out for yourself, but you won't do that.
No, yeah,
You,
I know you. I
make-
mean, listen. Now you're taken away from God. There, would God want you to say that I'm unsavable?
God knows the future. You're not in the book of life.
No, but I was talking about you, and I don't think you know. I'm pretty sure the Bible says no man knows who's in the book of life besides God. So do you know who's in the book of life?
And God
Do you know it's
communicates
impossible
with
for me not
me.
to be saved? How? Vocally, or do you just fucking get an intuition about it?
He interacts with me by responding to my questions, by moving my body in relation to the question that I asked him, and with objects in my room.
Can you give an example?
Wait, so God does
He
Ouija?
moves my-
God does
Yeah,
Ouija?
I haven't put no. I don't test him like that. He has moved things, moves my pillow, my smoke alarm, stars. He's even made stars vanish, and he's even expanded stars for me. He's even put stars into the formation of a cross. So let that sink in. That's how close I
Have you
am
taken
to
a
our
lot of
God of the
drugs when you were
Bible.
younger?
No,
You take a lot
don't
of
try to
drugs.
slander me. No.
I'm just asking.
We have
Did you?
reached.
Listen, I've
We
done a lot
have
of drugs in
reached.
life.
We
but
have
I-
reached the end. We have reached the end. So, what are your last words before I go?
Yeah, sure. Here's what I'll tell you. And I'll tell every other Christian out there like this. If you want to move people to Christ, coming on the internet and arguing with atheists, non-believers about it is the worst way you can do it. You want to move people to Christ. You want people to believe in Jesus. be like Jesus. Be like Jesus, emulate him, let people see the works that you do. You can't hide good works from people. And be genuine and kind and loving towards people. You want do the things Jesus actually asked you to do. Jesus didn't ask you to come on Discord and then just fucking talk nonsense and be uncooperative in conversation because you think that this is gonna like win you something. When really it just embarrasses you. So go ahead, my friend. What do you have to say?
I think he left. I didn't kick him, so I think he backed out. But that was a good answer. I can get an amen to that one.
Amen. We're all men.
Robin. Praise
This has
God for
been
Jesus.
great, man. Thanks for having me on to do this, dude.
Absolutely. Love having you here. Come back anytime.
Anytime, bro. You take it easy, man.
You too.
Peace out.
See you later. All right. Anybody else want to join the convo? Hop in, ask questions and stuff?
Hello.
Hey, salty boy.
Yeah. Was
Hey.
just listening for a little while, and yeah, it's been enjoyable.
For sure.
Do you mind me if I'm sounding a bit ruffled at the moment? I just finished dinner. So
I'm pretty ruffled too because I was just listening to this conversation.
it was going on for a while, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bill, how's
Right.
it going?
Everybody. I'm good. That guy was very frustrating.
Yeah. This is not my first encounter with him, so I am familiar. The last one was so much worse though, when he was arguing that colors and sounds prove God and Jesus. That one was funny.
Oof.
Well,
I
his-
think
say
I've
that God
talked
like
to him
the rainbow.
before. I'm pretty sure. Like he sounds so familiar.
Yeah, he was just
that I
on.
just can't.
He was just on Aaron Ross show like a week ago. She's changed identities.
Hmm.
He doesn't want to admit that he's Philip Cornelius Amon from that YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure you've talked to him.
Oh, Ahmad, is he the guy who argued morality with me? The guy with the long beard, and then he kept spamming all the YouTube. That might be Ahmad. I think that is the dude. Is he Jewish? He's like a Jewish guy, but he's also Christian.
I
The
don't
same
know.
sense.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Anyways, I couldn't.
I don't think he's
He
ever
seems so
shown his
familiar.
face. I don't think he's ever shown his face because he's always paranoid about that. So probably not him.
Of course. Isn't it ironic that people that like are out there trying to save people are too embarrassed to even show their face on YouTube? What do you think you're going to get persecuted for? You're in a country with a majority of Christians, and you think that there's going to be some kind of fake persecution towards you? What a joke!
Well, some people I can understand it though, like Darth Dawkins. Like if Darth Dawkins showed his face, he would get so much crap.
Oh yeah. Well, Darth Dawkins is dumb because he could have made $1 million doing what he does, and he just doesn't know how to run a damn YouTube channel. That's his problem. If you just put on like this, put a Discord on your channel, Darth, you would be a rich man, but you're an idiot. Is the problem.
So true.
That's why I always.
Actually,
That's why I always
actually,
say.
Darth,
Sorry. That's why I always say I don't like it when people are rude to Otangelo, because whenever he shows up, it's a huge feeding frenzy.
actually, Darth Dawkins by accident might showed his face. Like he spoke in Discord with another Christian. I don't remember exactly, and he accidentally on his smartphone activated his.
That was fake.
Maybe
That was
maybe
fake.
it's wrong. I don't know.
That was faked a long time ago.
Yep.
Figured it out
Ah,
the
I
same
see.
day.
Okay.
It was
Okay, then it's
of a
fake.
different YouTuber who actually died, I think, who was a race guy. So it was not actually him.
Darth actually, I think there is one photo of him that's pretty blurry and bubbly, but he looks kind of like Arnie Lang or Artie Lang. That's the on Stern. It may be an old picture though. So
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, if you really want to see what it looks like or see his background, you can search Gary Milne on Google and you'll find lots
was-
of people have hunted him down.
Milne, isn't it Milne?
Yeah, Milne.
yeah, you wind up with the Sidney Winston hack jobs, the hack videos.
Oh God, Sydney tears him up.
Oh, feeding frenzy. But you've got it coming.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's not deserved.
There you go.
One thing I wanted to say, just thank you to TJump because, like, I thought about all this stuff and now I'm a moral realist because it makes sense. So
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, TJump is so clear and lucid, and that's a great service.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Very flattering.
All right.
Bah humbug on that more worlds. All right, just joking. I'm not gonna get into it with you right now about that.
Wasn't I the one that converted you to pantheism? Because I'm a nationalistic pantheist, right?
No, I don't know. You know what was funny is like I kind of consider myself a deist, but I was always leaning more towards pantheism, like a pantheist deist. And then a friend of mine was like, the deist part's just kind of redundant. Like what it does, well, you don't need it there. You could just say pantheist. And I was like, oh, I guess it makes sense. You know. I don't
Could
know.
I ask, sorry, Skylar?
Yeah.
This is a term I've not yet heard before, I don't think. What's a
Mhm.
pantheist?
And forgive me because I may not give you a best philosophical definition here, but it basically the
just
idea is
that's
God
fine.
is basically that God and what the reality is, like the physical matter, is God manifesting itself in reality. So basically, God made it like so it's living within everything, the trees, life, like it's all God, basically. That the physical world is God
okay.
manifesting itself in reality. The reason I like it is to me it seems like it solves the problem of evil a lot. I think you don't have as much to deal with the problem of evil.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I couldn't argue it. There'd be no way for me to argue for it in a sense. Like these are just personal feelings I have by any means. But yeah, that's the way I would look at it. And you know, my views are always constantly evolving. Who knows?
Yeah, I think everyone's is like I definitely I see that as a better form of seeing God because I think people tend to put too much like pressure onto things that they're struggling with in their lives. So what they do, they create like an image or like, something physical that's in their mind that they can attach, what's depending on the like fears and worries and what they're going through rather than just kind of like a free flowing symbolism that can help guide people.
I made a comment in a chat the other day or one of these things about they were talking about infinite regression, and I made a statement saying the regression ends at occurrence, and I'm looking for the one singular characteristic that every particular everywhere anytime it has in common as the fundamental, this ultimate fundamental to which everything is referred to, and it's just it gets to occurrence. I'm trying to flesh it out so it's more palatable. Does that make any sense to say that?
I don't think so, because I think the occurrence thing would be the necessary being by their definition. So you're just using a different term for the starting of the infinite series.
But the being, though, is bloatware. I mean, you're adding up. I'm talking about you either have occurrence or you don't. Non-occurrence is nothing. Occurrence is this essential characteristic of everything, and the rest derives out of that.
Yeah, so in Thomism they call that pure act instead of occurrence. There's pure act as opposed to potency. So, yeah, that's the same thing the theists are going for when they're saying there's this necessary thing of pure act, and it precedes all occurrences.
Okay. I don't see it. If it has not occurred, then it's nothing. I don't see how there can be a pure act. It's just like saying what happened before the Big Bang. But I have some other crazy ideas about cause and effect. A cause is an attribution describing effect. We don't attribute cause to anything that does not occur. So it's actually first effect is what we're seeking. And if we can describe the cause as sentient beings, if it's accurate or inaccurate, doesn't matter. That which occurs is what occurred. So cause, we don't experience cause. We only experience effect, and then the business of sentience is to make that usable. How's that sound?
I think it's mostly a semantic thing. I think that cause just means the interaction, the previous interaction before the thing we're talking about. An effect is just the future interaction. I don't think it's. I think it's more semantic and doesn't actually tell us much about ontology.
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble with the word ontology, trying to get my grasp of that, and also metaphysics. I just have trouble glomming onto that.
The ontology just means that which exists.
Okay.
I think a better route for you to take is just to demonstrate why past infinite or an infinite regression isn't logically impossible.
The past emanates from the present. So it's not like you start at the beginning of time and go up to now. We're here now, and extending our thinking backwards or forwards. But the actual occurrence is the now.
Right. So what actually exists is the now, the occurrence of the present, right? But I'm just saying is that there is no contradiction in things like a past infinite, right? Or an infinite amount of finite events. That's usually an argument that I present against people who are causal finitists, right? The people who say that it is a contradiction, right? Most of the time, when they say that an infinite regress is a contradiction, rarely do they demonstrate it. They just assume that there's just a first order of events that God instantiates, right? But there's no actual evidence of that claim. It's just an assumption.
Well, they do provide things like the Reaper paradox. Alex Press's
that's
Reaper
garbage.
paradox. It's garbage.
It's garbage.
How would you respond to it other than saying it's garbage?
I just explained why. It's assuming a first order of events.
Well, what I see is there's actuality. We call occurrences actuality, and we are, as sentient beings, construct reality. We cannot be actual. We cannot be the actuality. That's the nature of sentience. So all these concepts about time and description, that's it's separated. It's separated from what is actually occurring. So these are just what we are capable of thinking. What the limits of our abilities to think are. Physical restriction.
It's also irrelevant because how does it deal with something like bounded infinities, right? Like Cantorian mathematics, where you just take a number and there's like an infinite number of ways that you can arrive at another number, right?
Yeah. Well, would that help you win the lottery? Can you win the lottery that way? I mean, pragmatically,
no.
Well, we are always acting out forth from our own sentience, our individual and discrete sentience, and we just do the best we can do. That's what we are. That's what we've emerged as. But we can't know everything. We can't know all that stuff. We can just function within the universe, and for whatever mental faculties coalesce into our minds, we think by committee of mental faculties, and we do what we do. There's always esoteric terms and stuff. They're breaking down this theoretical thinking, and it's too much. That's what they call rabbit trails. For me, I don't see how it's practical. It can help me at all.
Anybody else had any questions or wanted to come up and talk in the audience? Raise your hand. We can have more people.
This is off topic, TJump, but the original interlocutor you had there, he's gone?
Yeah. He left when Skylar gave his outro that saying he should act like Jesus. I think he got embarrassed by that.
Oh, I came in, heard the initial kind of confrontation between you and him, and I was so uninterested. I just popped out. I'm not gonna lie. He
knows more about philosophy than anyone. Am I right, guys?
Cougar.io, you're in the audience. You've been made a speaker. You can come on up here if you want to accept the invitation.
Man, but I still want to say that he has improved significantly since his last appearance.
I just wanted to mention my name is pronounced Bill Pazdu.
Like
We
French?
give it.
Pasto.
It's
I
yes,
get it.
French bastardization, which means Pazdu means without two, but it also is a play on the words Bill past due delinquent accounts. It's time to pay up.
You must have a hard
Gotcha.
time making ends meet then.
I live on SSR.
I'm gonna just go ahead and call you Bill Pasteox. That's the best way.
Ask the docs, please.
Yeah,
But don't dox me.
I wouldn't dream of it.
All right.
Anyone
I
can
don't
dox
even-
me. My name is Tom Jump. I live in Minnesota. Please send me money.
TJump, is your actual last name Jump?
Yep, my name is Tom Jump.
I don't know why I'm impressed by that, but I am. I shouldn't. It's not something to be.
It's
impressed
an
about.
impressive feat. Like, how do you manage to accomplish such a silly last name?
Yeah.
Well, I'll rip you off like Darth Dawkins rips off Dawkins. I'll call myself T Leap.
Well, I caught on the end about talking about like the possible paradox of past infinities, right?
Okay.
I don't think
Is
he
that
made
right?
such a coherent point ever, but I think he might have
Oh.
been alluding to it at some point.
Who was alluding to it?
Oh, maybe the speaker who came after the main speaker, like while waiting for Skylar, was talking about that, saying that something like there can't be past infinites. I remember there was a
Yeah.
guy in here for a bit saying that.
And it's one of those things that, like, at least philosophically, I don't know how you could make that claim just on the surface. You'd have to have some kind of notion why you're making the claim.
I'm stubborn. I said there can only be now.
There can only be now, like in the sense of a state. Like if now is the state and is the like outcome of the state of affairs that was previous to it. Is that what you mean? And,
Yeah,
like, so this-
Tangelo was talking about how do we arrive at the present moment, and we want to tell me you're already there. And like I said, no matter where you go, there you are. So it's all of the past. Infinity is all of the past plus all of the future minus one plank of now stuck exactly in the middle.
Well, I think like B theory of time is definitely possible, where all time exists at the same time and we only exist in one frame of reference. So I think that is definitely possible. There's more than now.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to A theory because it's intuitive, but yeah, I acknowledge that B theory could definitely be true.
Yeah, I actually looked up the consensus in physics. I think that A theory and B theory are both like 20-30%.
Yeah.
And then,
But
like,
I would,
other-
Bill, I think the problem is that like the philosophical problem with the notion that I see with that only the now exists is that like past realities are the now is subject to past realities. Like we have notions of what was the case, and those notions inform what is the case, right?
Memory is a awesome thing.
But you can discern what is the case from only from information about what was the case.
Right, and the case is sentient modeling. It's a model.
But I'm saying, shouldn't it be philosophically impossible? If only the now exists, shouldn't it be philosophically impossible to determine what is the case based on what was the case only? If you're blind to what is the case, you shouldn't be able to discern what is the case based on what was the case, or at least there should be a margin of error for what is the case. But as long as you could perfectly model what was the case, you should be able to perfectly know what is the case.
I say no matter what the origins of time and light were, it's safe to assume things turned out just exactly the way they are.
I can't tell if that answered my question or not.
But
I don't know what to say.
I don't think it answers the theist question, because the theist question is, for us to be able to arrive at the present moment, certain things can't have happened and certain things must have happened. And so we can eliminate the things that couldn't lead to this case. And that would be like an infinite regression is one of the things they say couldn't have led to this case.
Intuitively, I want to agree with that, but I have a feeling you'll just make me look stupid if I.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
So TJump, I got a question for you.
okay.
So what would a refutation like? You claim to be an atheist. Like, how would you refute? What is it called, bro? I already forgot. I'm low IQ. Sorry. Give me a second.
Slow down.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard someone actually call themselves low IQ.
Yeah, we need more of those people.
Hey, I'm a proud
Instead
low
of the
IQ. I'm a proud low
Dunning-Krugers that
IQ.
we get regularly.
It shows a wisdom beyond his years.
Yep.
Look at that pantheism. How are you gonna refute pantheism?
How am I going? Well, I adopt naturalistic pantheism. So my view is naturalistic pantheism, which is you can find on the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is a worldview that has ontology where it accepts nothing more than that is what is accepted by science. And so it's essentially that the fundamental nature of reality is matter. So I accept a version of pantheism.
Yeah. And he's easily like I have a more theistic version of pantheism where there is part of the actual ontology that's unknown to us, which could include the natures of a creative intelligence. But TJump has soundly beaten me in debate on that topic multiple times, so he does pretty well on disputing the theistic pantheism.
Can you actually know that he's beaten you?
Yeah, you could be wrong. Maybe you actually beaten me and you're just so confused.
It's God's plan. It'll come around later.
TJump just beats everyone because he's just better at philosophy than you, right? Am I right, guys?
So he's better at philosophy than me. I have to admit that, but then also better at like citing sources or having a good knowledge base of good scientific sources. So like I can't really win, and that's kind of at a disadvantage.
You know, TJump wins a debate when he cites the consensus of experts. Am I right, TJump?
Exactly.
It's his no frills presentation. That makes it seem so lucid.
Did not Dio get his question answered? Because I had a question.
I think so. Dio, did you have a follow-up to your question about pantheism? Nope.
Okay, he's gone. A question about like novel testable predictions and determination and all that. So is there some like possible chance of like a flat earther or a young earth scientist saying they have a model and then making some other prediction based on something else and then saying that it came true, therefore their model about flat earth is right?
Mm-hmm. That happens all the time.
Sure.
Incorrect models make correct predictions all the time.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's very rare that occurs. So that almost
like,
never
yeah,
occurs.
how do you prove, or how do you make, whatever you're predicting, how do they determine it just corresponds to their model? Does it have to?
Nope. You can say I have a round square and my prediction of the round square says that, I don't know, the stock market is going to double tomorrow and Bitcoin is going to go to 100K. If it happens, that would be evidence of your model, even if there is no coherent explanation why. So like things like Einstein's special general relativity said that space-time bends, and most philosophers were like, well, that's logically impossible. Space-time isn't a physical thing. It can't bend. So it wasn't really coherent to them, but it didn't matter. He made novel predictions, so it wins. The thing is that if you have a model that can accurately make predictions, your ability to actually coherently explain how it works isn't as important. So like you can imagine an alien coming down and saying, and then gave you some coherent predictions and they all came true. You're like, whatever he said, it works, even though I have no idea what he said.
This theoretically leaves open the possibility for like nonsense claims like that the Earth is be flat to somehow make novel, testable, repeatable predictions.
Yep.
It doesn't.
If you can accurately explain infinite regression, you should be able to explain Bitcoin.
Listen, I bought Bitcoin a while back, and I mean, as long as you treat it like a commodity and not like a currency, you can make money off it.
Yeah.
Where do you transfer the Bitcoin into cash?
You don't buy Bitcoin directly. You buy what is the word? Securities.
Well, you can buy it through a broker, and the broker does all of the handling, and so I can just trade it in and send it directly to my bank account.
So I use Fidelity, and like if you're not an expert, I recommend it because they do all the work for you, and they're really really great. Like so, if you want to make money, if you want to treat it like a security through Fidelity, you can. They'll allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin like it's a security.
All I want to do is buy a fucking GPU for my system so I can do video editing, and I can't buy a GPU because of this crypto mining.
What?
So,
How-
the heck
What?
with all your money. You
What?
can't put the GPUs. All the crypto miners chasing after Bitcoin. They're buying up all the GPUs. You don't know about the graphic
Yeah.
processor crisis. You can't. A $350 GPU costs $1,200. So
It's supply and demand or something. I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I can buy like a new computer on Amazon for like $150. I don't have a GPU problem.
With a GPU in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, graphics processing unit. Every computer has a GPU. Your phone has a GPU.
He's talking
Right.
about a high end card. Their high end cards prices have gone way up, but
Why
they're about
not
they're about to come down, Bill.
I bought a
Good,
high end.
I'm waiting. I'm just
I bought a
trying to run
high-end graphics
Resolve.
card a while back,
Well,
and
but just be careful because the market's about to be flooded with a bunch of used ones.
Right, burned up. That's the Chinese ones were already cheap, but they're coming out of the factories that burned them up.
Yep.
isn't the energy cost for running GPU outstripping the actual value of the Bitcoin these days? I thought that was.
It's keeping pace. But you're right. I mean, when you start going at the kind of levels that those guys are doing, yeah, the energy cost offsets your gains.
What is a Bitcoin worth? One Bitcoin worth these in the market now?
50,000 almost.
Jesus Christ. Chimney crickets.
But the notion is that I've heard some speculators saying that like as there's going to be this great move over, right, of liquid assets from boomers over to the next generation, and that's going to double the interest in Bitcoin investment, and therefore double the value, and it's going to go up to 100K over the course of the next 10 years. I don't know if that's reasonable speculation, but that's what I've read.
Doesn't it have an expiration?
The longer that it goes on, the higher it's going to go up because more countries are going to adopt it as legal currency. It was up really high before China dumped it. But yeah, as the longer it goes on, the higher it's going to go up, especially given the fact that boomers don't usually invest as much, and more investing is done easier now thanks to like Robinhood and Coinbase. And so it's definitely going to have a broader market that gives greater availability, which is going to increase it slowly as long as the economy doesn't crash because of global warming or whatever.
Well, there's a limited number of Bitcoins, isn't there?
Right. Yeah,
when
well,
create it,
there's-
and it expires, doesn't it?
There's so many different crypto coins now, but yeah, some have unlimited, some have limited numbers.
Okay.
So I
But-
guess there
but
is
Tom's right.
limited,
Crypto will keep going up, but these savage ups and downs will start to level out.
I guess the question is like, is the stability like index for crypto going to make it a valuable currency, or are people going to hesitate to it? The current hesitation is stability, right? I'm
Well,
pretty
there's
sure
several
from-
countries that have already adopted it as a currency.
Really?
Hmm.
Are they countries I've ever heard of?
Yeah,
Well-
they're big countries. They're just usually
Yeah.
poor. Like Venezuela, I think, was one.
Okay.
Was it Venezuela? It was one of the South American countries.
Theoretically,
Philippines?
like a capitalist country could adopt it in earnest without it actually being backed by the trust of the government. in
El
question.
Salvador.
So-
El Salvador became the world's first country to
Okay.
adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender.
So
I'm gonna invest my money in old Confederate currency because it's coming back around.
yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I've been tempted to invest in military what do you call them there, contractors.
And that El Salvador thing was just a couple weeks ago too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Did it help or hurt? How is it pairing out in the value
I
of
think
Bitcoin?
it's too early to tell, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, since it's such a small country and doesn't have the most stable economy. It's not like China. When China dumped Bitcoin or outlawed it, that had a huge impact. That dropped it from like 60 to 20K.
Yeah. But the thing is, Bitcoin has an inherent, like you said, an inherent an inherent ability to recover just because of the nature of the fact that it's considered or is looking towards being a replacement or a different kind of currency, progressive notions, I guess, of currency. I don't know. But theoretically, if you live in a capitalist society, you can adopt Bitcoin without any authorization from the government, so long as there's not any negative imposition.
You can describe Bitcoin as decentralized.
Yeah, that would be a good way to describe it, right? So long as you had unrestricted capitalist ability, unrestricted capitalist economy, you could accept and trade on Bitcoin without any authorization from the government, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you brought Octo up on the stage. Has he said anything yet?
Nope.
Speak, Octo.
Octo,
I've been
have you
arguing
read,
the stage
There
chat.
we go. There we go.
Stage chat.
have you read The Third Wave, Octo? Alvin Toffler's Third Wave.
Pardon?
Have you read Alvin Toffler's The Third Wave?
I don't believe so.
I think he gets the reference.
Well, since we've moved off the God topic and Biblical Christian has pieced out, I'm going to end the live stream. So people on YouTube, thanks for watching. Appreciate you taking the time to join the channel. I'm going to get something to eat and let these guys run the stage. See you later.